Hello and welcome to The Fights Within. Your hosts Manuela and Samuel are here to encourage you to fight, regardless of obstacles you're facing. This year's show theme will focus on spiritual discipline, transforming your life while growing closer to God's beacon of light, while reaching your peak spirituality. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to The Fights Within.
Hello, happy Wednesday. This is Women's Month, so I'm super excited. Are you excited?
I'm excited.
We're super excited. Why? Because in the past, in my past show, I used to always have one segment or a couple of segments quarterly where it's just us women. And being that today is Wednesday, it's Women's Month. And so Thais and I got together and we talked about this topic and I prayed on it, and our topic for the whole month, we're going to have a 5-episode topic called Healing the Woman Within. I thought it was fitting for the month of March and Women's Month, and also, of course, our book, Dear Woman, that came out September? Yes. September. And so I'm excited to do this show with Thais. So Thais is not a guest. She's a family to the show. Yes, but I'll still let her introduce herself before we get started with our topic.
Well, hello guys. It's good to be back. Happy Women's Month in March. Okay, yes. So I'm Thais Nevels, author, entrepreneur,
yes,
businesswoman, all that kind of stuff, but more or less family to Manuela. And so I'm happy and excited that you invited me again, and I'm ready to talk about Women's Month topics, healing the women within.
Yes, so again, it's going to be a 5-episode. Yes, no Samuel, no anyone else. It's just us because we really want to allow God to use us. Yes. And we're going to be transparent, okay? There's some things you don't know about us. Right. So tonight, again, the topic is healing the woman within. Our topic, we're starting with healing. What is healing? Do you want to get started and tell us, in your opinion, what healing is?
Yes, okay. So healing, number one, guys, when we're talking about healing, is talking about those things that have hurt you, that have created some emotional scar, some physical scar, some spiritual scar. Yes. Being able to be whole again, right? Yes. Not be impartial. So when we talk about healing through our topics for the rest of the month, think about being whole. What you need to do to look in the mirror to say, hey, these are things I should work on, and being transparent with yourself so that you could be a whole individual again, so that when you go into whatever your next endeavor is, if it's a relationship, if it's a business venture, that you're whole in that you're not dragging along, what do we say? Luggage, baggage, whatever it is, right?
Yes.
So that's my definition.
Definitely. And also, I can tell you, let me tell you the season of life I am in right now. So my season of life right now is cancer. So I am in the season where I am taking care of my only sister, my older sister, who is battling breast cancer. And so, again, Women's Month. Yes. And so I am celebrating my sister, short hair. People who's been asking me, how come you cut your hair? It's for my sister. As you know, when you go through chemotherapy, you lose your hair. And so that chapter of life for me is very strange because I've never experienced this chapter before. Right. It's something I've never experienced. The journey, I will say, is very, very hard because I'm with her 7 days a week. Of course, my parents are there and other family members are there, but I live with my sister. So it's a little different. It hit me a little different. But I will say this girl right here, let me tell you, and that's why I'm doing the show with her, tears, that's who I call. When I need to pick me up, that's who I call. Because, you know, what I'm learning in this season of cancer, in this journey, some people don't know what to say to me. I don't know if they're scared or, they're not calling like they used to. Right. It's different, and I get it, you know what I mean? But I thank God for Thais because she's been that rock for me. Because being a caretaker for someone you love and watching them go through chemotherapy, watching them lose their hair, watching them struggle, lose weight, all of it, right? It's hard. And so you need a sister, you need a woman, someone that you love and know has your back and your heart and be able to minister to you in your season. So that's my season. That's why I have this short hair, and I'm rocking the Dear Woman. And again, I'm celebrating Women's Month, but also celebrating my sister who's battling breast cancer. And what's your season? What season of life are you in?
I think it's a season of you thought it was kind of calm. you think you're sailing and it's smooth, and then all of a sudden, boom, and you're like, oh, holy, I'll bleep that out for y'all. So I'm in a season kind of uncertainty, right? And it's tough because you have to try to figure out, do you remain positive? Do you get upset? Do you let anger and frustration overtake you? Or do you remain to stay kind of prayerful? And to be honest with you, with the season that you're in and the season I'm in, it's like you don't hear God loud, but it's kind of like a whisper. And so when you do want to just be like, I just want to rip my hair out, or whatever you want to do that's not productive, don't do it. It's kind of like, okay, so what do I do? And I think this is the moment where God makes you go sit in silence, right? Be still and know that He is God. So that's the season I'm in. And it's also a season of, outside of everything, kind of like you get to reap a little bit of what you sow on the positive side of all the various projects we've worked on over the last probably 12 months, seeing those come to fruition, but also being able to see the vision of it's larger. So that's where I'm at, right? And I want to address a couple of things of being her rock. So I understand what it is to go through things. I have an aunt, she went through cancer. I can't say I lived with her, was there every step of the moment. But what we need to do when people are going through things, folks, we need to be compassionate, right? You need to have empathy. You need to be able to hear that person out and practice active listening. Because if we are to walk like Christ, and then we say, oh, we love people, love means sometimes you're going to go down in the dumps with that person. But while they're down there, you don't need to say a lot. Your presence is just there. You hear them out. You go pray for them on the side where you don't tell them what you're praying for them. It's just a support system. So don't go through life being judgmental, because we all cycle up and we cycle down. And what I've learned is God blessed me with some really great female friends, because I know it looks like I'm not a tomboy, but I'm a tomboy. And I don't have a lot of female friends. And the ones I do have, they are my blessings from God. Manuela definitely being one of them, okay? So make sure you manage those relationships too, not just with your significant other. Manage your relationship with your friends who become family, who become your sisters. Because at one time or another, you might be up, you might be down, and they should be there in every season.
That's right. And so I definitely wanted to get all that out, and before we talked about healing. And so the reason why we came up with healing, of course, in the news, you guys recently noticed that suicide has been a thing. You see this beautiful Miss USA, beautiful, beautiful woman, and we didn't know her, but on the outside, she looked like she got it all together, right? But this beautiful lady decided to take her life. Not only did she take her life, but she actually, I don't know how many stories the building was, to open a window and literally leaped to her death. And I'm like, wow, God. There's a lot of us walking around looking pretty on the outside. We got it all together, but we still little girls on the inside. And I was like, you know what, T, we need to talk about healing the woman within, because a lot of us are carrying unresolved issues, right? Baggages, like you said. And so we want to talk about these baggages and also offer some guidelines and some wisdom, and of course, with the Word of God, empower you ladies to be able to, be who you're supposed to be, not walking around as a bent woman, but walking in your greatness, okay? So we'll be right back to talk about healing the woman within.
See you guys.
Yes.
Welcome to the B12 store,
where a healthy life starts here.
We have one mission at Hip Hop Streets. And that's to inspire artists to go for their dreams. Our custom music app gives listeners the opportunity to discover new artists from across the globe. Catch the latest interviews, listen and watch the dopest podcasts, and check out music videos from not just hip-hop, but from the many different genres we have on the Hip Hop Streets app. Our free music app is available on your Android and Apple device. Join the movement.
The You Endure Original Tea Infuser Bottle is offering you a cool new way to brew your tea and infuse your fruit water. The double opening makes cleaning a snap. The removable stainless steel infusers make it simple for you to brew our healthy and exotic flavors. The bottles are BPA-free and double-wall designed for easy handling. The locking flip-top lids are also available for even more convenience. These leak-proof bottles make on-the-go drinking a snap. Try them with all of our premium organic tea flavors. You endure, live, love, be healthy.
And we are back, and like I said, our topic is healing the woman within. And so before commercial, I was saying to you guys, there's a lot of us walking around with baggages, unresolved issues. And like I said, this topic is very dear and near to my heart, and I said to God, I would be transparent. And so one of my things is when I was between the age of 5 through 7, I was molested. By family friends. And it took me a long time to talk about it. And it wasn't until 38 years old that I finally told my siblings that this took place in my life. So I walked around crippled for a long time. I tried to fulfill that void, that emptiness, that innocence that was taken away from me. The 20s were my partying days. Alcohol was one of my best friends, okay? Because I was trying to suppress that pain, the pain that I wouldn't talk about to anyone. Because I felt, not only was I hurt, but I felt so unpure, right? I felt so unpure, and I felt that people, well, men, would not love me because I've experienced that. So that's my trauma that I experienced. What's one of the things that you want to talk about?
Well, I would just like to say thank you.
Yes.
For being transparent.
Yes. Yes.
It's hard to talk about things that happen, right? It's a lot of people who have been molested, male and female. People that we know directly, people we don't know indirectly, and it's one of those things when you do whatever you go through, whatever trauma, when you're able to talk about it, that's a blessing. That tells you you're making progress.
Yes.
Like for me, so I've gone through various things. I probably could list a plethora of things, but one of the things that I went through as a child was abuse, and it was different types. It was verbal abuse. It was emotional abuse, it was mental abuse, sometimes it was physical abuse. And to be very transparent with you guys, as I got older, I always wanted to be an overachiever, right? Because sometimes, even today I still have this issue, I feel like I'm not good enough. And so when you feel like you're not good enough because, you know, there wasn't a safe space for you to be you, you overachieve, and so therefore certain parts of me I turned off. So for me, I'm not really, I have nieces and nephews, they're very affectionate. I'm not affectionate. And I think it has a lot to do with the abuse that I dealt with, right? So I turn off that part of me, but it's very much human-like, right? It's part of humanity to be affectionate and say, hey, how you doing? And actually want to have people in your space, but for me it's no. And so I've started a healing journey way long time ago where I am better now, but I think I had to really face the music probably about the same age, about 38, where you're like, okay, I've made it through 3 decades of life, and there's still a void. I mean, I have my relationship with God, I have my relationship with my friends, I got my relationship with my family, but there are certain parts of you you're still like, I'm still empty.
Yep. And that's to be expected. And thank you for your transparency.
Yes.
And I know you guys who are watching are probably thinking about, or if you want to share, you can comment below.
Yeah.
But that is something that's necessary in women. I really believe by us, starting with us, being transparent with you guys, hopefully it will start your healing process.
Absolutely.
And also too, like I said, we are in a new year, and some of us are still carrying those baggages. And so I'm saying to you, or we're saying to you tonight, Women's Month, it's time to let that baggage go. Right. Whatever it is that you need to do, whether it's seek counseling, whether it's to talk to someone, the person who hurt you, maybe you write a journal about it. I love to write. That's my therapy, right? You have to find, by any means necessary, this month, I'm challenging you guys to not only grow, but it's time for you to let that trauma go, right?
Yep, and you have to address it, guys. I'm sorry to say it. It's like there is only so much you could haul around in this life. And if you truly want to be whole, you truly want to be free, then you have to start addressing the ugly things. And I'm sorry to say, there's no other way around it. You can't avoid it. We all have looked in the mirror and then sobbed until you can't sob no more, or sob until your eyes hurt. And it's okay, because that's part of the process. But I do second the motion of what Manuela's saying. Some people like to use against you if you go get therapy. Everybody is dealing with some type of mental issue, I'm sorry to say, right? There is something that everybody's dealing with, and there are professionals out here. God gave everybody different talents, and their talent is to help you work through your issues. And it's okay to admit that you are human and you are flawed. It's okay. Go get the help. Don't let anybody tell you, oh, you go get help, you're crazy. No, you're crazy if you don't get help. So that's what I'm saying, and I have a passion behind that, because right now in my life, what I'm going through, there are people out here using that against me. So don't let anybody use it against you. Use it for your freedom. Use it for your healing. It's okay.
Definitely okay. And the thing I've learned about traumas is that if, like Thais just said, if you don't deal with those unresolved issues, what happens is we repeat the cycles. And that's why I said earlier, a lot of us are, yes, we are women, but we're little girls. We're functioning as little girls.
Broken little girls.
Broken little girls. Lost little girls, because we haven't dealt with our issues.
Or even scared little girls.
Right. And I know for me, as a child, one of the things that I was afraid of is marriage or having children. Because I've watched people in front of me as I was growing up who didn't know how to, problem solve. Everything was just chaotic, throwing things, and so that was traumatic for me. And so for a long time, I was like, if this is marriage, I don't want it. I don't want. If I'm gonna beat on my kids and curse them out like this, and it's funny, but you'll be amazed of the things that children, little girls, carry scars from childhood that we don't deal with and don't realize as adults. Oh my goodness, I am still that child. I'm still that 7-year-old. I'm still that 5-year-old. The things that I saw with my own eyes are still there. So it's important, okay? It is important for us as women. If we're gonna be the great women that God has called us to be, do the things that God has called us to do, we have to do the healing.
Absolutely. And I want to make sure, I want to preface something, guys. I was not laughing because I am insensitive.
No.
I was laughing because we share similar experiences, right? So I grew up with parents that stayed married until my mom passed away, and my parents were together 50 years. There was things I seen that I was like, oh, nah, I'm good. You say marriage, and the sad part is marriage is actually beautiful, guys. And it is important to learn when you're with your partner. You might have some chaos, but you have to learn how to communicate. You got to learn how to talk about it. You have to learn how to sometimes give them space. Because I had the same thoughts in my head. Get married. Have children. Oh, no. But as I've matured, I've come to a place where, like, wait a minute, if you have the right skills and you have taken healing yourself as an imperative fraction and faction of your life, then you can go enter into a relationship that could proceed to marriage, and you could have a healthy marriage. You can have a healthy relationship, and you don't have to live in dysfunction.
Yes.
So that's kind of the way I look at it, and that's how you know you're maturing and growing and healing.
Definitely. And also, finally, and you know, when I do this show, I always like to piggyback a story in the Bible. So with our theme for this month, our 5 episode, there's 2 women I want to highlight, but the first one is the woman with the issue of blood. Right? She tried everything. She was bleeding for 12 years, go to doctors, name it, the gimmick, she did it. Nothing made this woman stop bleeding. Right. Nothing made her whole. You want to piggyback before I add more to the story?
Yeah, that's a tough situation. Think about it. It's just like carrying your baggage. However long you've been carrying your baggage, you've tried to drop it off, you've tried to dump it off, and for some odd reason, maybe you keep going back and picking it back up and then carrying it along. That kind of, to me, when I hear the story of the woman who had the issue of the blood for the 12 years, that's what I think about. Like, she really couldn't help it, but there was one solution, right? And that solution is when you really face you're down and dirty. And at this point, you got to go seek Jesus.
Yes.
At every point, we got to go do that.
And and what's fabulous about the story I love is the fact that she pressed her way through the crowd. She got to a point where she was sick of being sick. She was sick of being tired. She was tired of this blood. Right. She was tired of not being whole. Right. So she got to a point where she's like, okay, I got to empty myself. Right. And so here's our question. The reason why you're probably not healing is because you haven't emptied yourself. You're still holding on. You're still trying to fix it on your own. And God is like, I'm like right here. Yeah. Give it to me. I'm right here. And so the woman with the issue of blood, she pressed her way through the crowd. And instantly, Jesus said, who touched me?
Yep, because
he felt it.
Yep, because she just touched the hem.
Come on.
The hem. Do y'all know what a hem is? You can't see a hem on clothes.
Yes.
But to touch a hem, that means you just got close enough where you just grabbed a hold of whatever you could, and that's him passing by, and you just grabbing the edge of his clothing.
Yep.
That's pretty awesome.
And instantly, she was whole. And so what is stopping you from being whole?
Yeah, ask yourself. And it's okay if it's ugly. We all got to start somewhere, guys.
And one of the things that I know in the past I've done, self-sabotaging.
Yeah, I've done that a lot too.
A lot of us, go ahead, I want you to talk about that.
No, like, you don't think about it until you realize you're in a cycle.
Yes.
And the cycle could be almost endless if you don't look at what you're doing, right? You might be setting yourself up for a great promotion and you're doing good, but then all of a sudden you start negative talk, right? So you're talking to yourself negative.
Yes.
Maybe you are building a relationship. It could be a business partner relationship. It could be a significant other relationship, and you do something that you know you normally wouldn't do, but you do it subconsciously because you're afraid of what the next step could be, or how great something could be, or how terrible. More than likely, if you just stop thinking about it, it'll probably be okay and good. But self-sabotage, oh yeah, I had to deal with myself actually probably about 18 months ago with that.
Yes.
And realize my faults. So.
Exactly. And like she said, the key word, cycles. Some of us, we've repeated this lesson over in the class over, and we still being retained. At some point,
don't fail that class again. Don't fail it no more.
So at some point, as women, we have to get to a point where, number one, be honest, because that's the thing I think a lot that stops us from healing. We're not honest with ourselves and our condition.
Ooh, say that. That's good.
Add to that.
No, it's true, right? So because you want to be seen a certain way, right? I want to, my shoulders are back, my chest is out. No, I am fine. Girl, you're not fine. It's okay. It's okay. When you can admit that something is broken, that's the first step, right? They say when you are able to admit that something's wrong, then you can proceed to the next step. But you can't, yes, everything is fine, and then everything is falling down behind the scenes. You posting pictures that you're great on social media, but behind social media in your room, you can't stop crying. You can't stop talking negative about yourself. There's things going on. It's hey, just say, hey, it's something wrong and I got to do something to fix it. The moment you do that, you free yourself.
Yes, yes. And real quick, this recently happened. This kid, boyfriend broke up with her, and she decided that she was going to take some pills. And she didn't do it at her house. No, she came to a place in the bathroom, took pills because some little boy broke her heart. And so
That's heartbreaking.
this is the condition our little sisters and little girls are.
Right.
And so we have to do our part. And so again, I challenge you ladies who's watching, or men, it's time to heal. So again, this is a 5 episode. We'll be back. But before we go, this month, please support us and get this book. So I will put the link below each episode. Get this Dear Woman copy because there's 10 stories in there, and we want you guys to support us. It's available worldwide, and it's also available on Amazon. Again, we'll share the link. We'll be back for part 2. Stay tuned, and we'll see you all next week. Take care.
Bye, guys.